Good morning and what's going on? Welcome to another Subi Shaves video with me on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a Subi smile, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking into our video, and for joining me. Hopefully, as usual, wherever you're tuning in from, you got something cold in your hand, you're sitting in a comfy chair, and you're ready for a shave. And our first shave in the new den, I'm so excited to have you here. It's gonna be phenomenal. We're gonna be talking about some stuff that I just got my hands on. It just barely is releasing. Today, we're gonna be shaving with the Maxwell June. This is their double edge safety razor. They just barely released in 316 stainless steel, 160 grams. Really nice $89 razor that they are producing, manufacturing all by themselves in Chicago, Illinois, in their Rockford facility. Absolutely thrilled to be talking about this. I've been working with them kind of side by side as they've been developing this concept. They've gone through a lot of iterations, and I gotta be honest with you, I think Rob over at Maxwell June and his brother have done something spectacular here, not only creating something and fabricating something right here in the US, but something that I think really appeals to the mass market, something that really is the sweet spot, if I could say that. I absolutely love this. I love the barber pole design on the handle. We're gonna jump in, we're gonna talk about it, but I'm thrilled to be doing a review today on this beautiful stainless steel, and I'm gonna call it like not a satin, but a soft tumbled finished polish that really says premium. Oh, it should be fantastic. We're also going to be diving in head first, as you know I like to say, when Lord of the Flies from Alien Shave. It was our first shave in the den, and I have to be honest, I have been dying to use this product, and I have waited several weeks to do the review until we were fully unboxed to be able to do this, because this is one of those ones I wanted to really fill in and experience in this area, in this space. It is absolutely beautiful. If you're a fan of Tom Ford's ombre leather, okay, that very classic, I would say very popular, it's a quintessential scent for me in the leather category. This is gonna hit the same kind of notes in my experience. Now, Tom Ford uses raspberry as the backbone of that scent, right? Raspberry really up front, really punchy, really sweet. This uses forest berry and orange and a mint note, and the mint note's really beautiful, but then that mixes it together with, you have like the bergamot, you have the velvetier, and then you've got a really nice violet kind of filling in all the other notes. It's a scent for your senses, I can tell you that much. It's a scent that makes me go, bergamot and velvet, really nice, really well done. Leather, violet, but then this forest berry plays in there that almost takes over a raspberry note. That sweet berry scent almost goes to the Tom Ford ombre leather kind of category. If you aren't sure what that would smell like, Vorv from Holy Caw or Denade Foil 50 from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement, all really similar. Very similar, I think, at least, to my nose, smell very similar. I like Alien Shave's base, and I just want to mention this. Their base is something that I can always rely on, and I have new water softener, new things that I'm experimenting with this new area, and I wanted to rely on their lather because it's something that I can consistently use and get a really dense, thick, hydrated, slick product that really shaves my head. Well, look at this. We're doing this 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it's been, and I'm still getting absolutely beautiful shaves utilizing really slick lather and really dense stuff from Alien Shave. What a beautiful product that's only gotten continually better. Okay, speaking of getting continually better, let's talk a little bit about Maxwell June. Something that I really have enjoyed over the years. This is their twin blade razor. It's an all aluminum razor that they produce that utilizes this puck, which you put your double edge safety razor into, you snap it all together, and kind of like making a coffee, an espresso, you end up getting two staggered blades into this safety razor to shave with. And they developed this and designed this for people out there looking for like the cartridge experience with a double edge safety razor. It's light. It really, I would say, gives you the same experience as like one of those cheaper like products, like disposable razors, but that isn't disposable, right? It's something you can keep for a lifetime, gives you very easy, very affordable, but intuitive shaves. And I love that for this, for that reason, is that if you're a new double edge safety razor user, right, something like this where it's a single edge, you're not worried about nicking yourself with a double edge razor. Well, on top of that, right, it feels similar to what you've already been experiencing, but gives you a longer lasting, closer, and more comfortable shave. At least it does for me. And it's a razor, I guess, that they've really been proud of, and that's really been their mainstay. It's what gave them their name in the shave space 4 years ago. Really cool, very interesting razor, very unique razor, right? And then fast forward, we're now talking about them producing a 316 stainless double edge safety razor that's more, I would say, familiar to people that are seen wet shaving, tools historically, right? Things that are the three-piece design. And for everybody out there that's wondering, I wanted to grab a few of the razors that have kind of taken the industry, right? The general public, that kind of, grab their interest. The Henson razor, right? I would say is one of those ones that if you've seen commercials, you've been on social media, right? Thinking about doing a switch over from standard, carts to a typical, a three-piece razor, right? Henson has done a really good job marketing that design. And why is because of this very easy to use. You can see beveled face, right? It sets the angle for you, making it a very accommodating, easy tool to use and not have to relearn. And Maxwell June has kind of utilized that same technology, the same concept, right? A beveled edge where it's not completely round, but it's a little bit more hybrid, right? It has a little bit more of a preset angle, kind of like the 921 of YATES era, right? And if you see this, the YATES actually has a little bit of a taper to this edge, whereas the Maxwell June brand has actually completely rounded the corners. They're very soft, very elegant, and very comfortable on the skin. Every edge on this is completely beautifully deburred and rounded. It's very soft on the skin, but they've actually offered that full uniform lather bar all the way opened up, which the 921 did not. I really like that a lot. Really cool, really unique, very easy for flow and without having buildup problems. The Dracont razor, right? Another one of those ones that has a kind of a hybrid beveled preset angle to it. You can see how similar those razors are, right? Very similar on the Maxwell June side. Again, 316 stainless, still $89. And then you've got the Winning razor, again, another one of those preset angles. And again, you can kind of see the similarity here, but for everybody out there that doesn't love the feel of the Henson, right? Because it does tend to have a little bit of suction effect due to the way that the bevel sits against the skin. This has, because it's not completely beveled, it's more curved. You have more angle to kind of manipulate to, really maximize the potential of the sweet spot on the razor. I really like this. I like that they've designed the handle to play tribute to their twin blade, right? You can kind of see the knob here, but at the same time, it's a little shorter, it's a little more stout, and it's got quite a bit of weight at that 103 grams. They've added this barber pole knurling, and you can see how well that is fabricated and how grippy that feels. It's definitely nice and it adds some ergonomics to it, but I would also just like to call this out. It's not super deep. It's not like an ultra deep, knurling. So it's not like, I would say, like ultra grabby on your hand or your skin. It feels very smooth as far as like the texturing, but it still feels nice, and you can definitely say that it adds some grip to the shave as you're getting things wet and slippery. Really beautiful razor that they are very proud to be manufacturing and creating themselves, and it kind of developed the tooling and the machines to do this, right, at a budget that people can afford, right? I feel like that's one of the things that's very difficult with modern, very beautiful, well-crafted razors. So sometimes the price point makes it almost makes it very limiting. It makes it a little bit more exclusive, whereas they're not doing that. They charge you as they ship the product, right? They're going to be very upfront with the pricing model. They're not doing any FOMO mechanics where, as soon as it sells out, everybody has to jump on it. They're not doing anything like that. They're saying, this is what we can make, this is what we can sell, this is the price, and we're doing it to be mass marketed for the general public, right? And that is really one of the things that I love about the razor, is that the efficiency, the performance of the razor is geared, it's aimed towards the general public. I wouldn't say that it's super aggressive. I wouldn't say it's super mild. It's right down the middle. They haven't released the actual blade gap or the blade exposure, but as far as the razor skin fill, I would put it right down the middle, right at a 5 on performance and probably like a 7 or 8 on efficiency, if that makes sense. So it's not super aggressive. There is some blade fill to it, but it's not ultra mild. You know what I mean? And it's also going to knock down stubble on an offset, where it's going to shave a little bit more efficiently than a mild razor. Let's get in here. Let me show you. It's one of those ones that kind of took me by surprise, because we went through a couple iterations. They reached out to me and said, what do you think this would, shave wise, what do you think this would appeal to? Do you think this is an everyday shaver? Do you think it could work for people that are, wanting to reach for something once a week, once a month? How do you think the performance is? And we went through a couple different options. They discussed, different things as far as performance, different gaps and different exposures. And I kind of settled on saying to them, I felt like this is a razor that's designed kind of similarly like the twin blade for everybody. This isn't something that's going to, want to, make you reach for like a straight razor, right? It's not going to feel like super aggressive. And I love that. And I said, I think that's where they should kind of aim and gear the razor towards. And I think they did spectacularly. Price model wise, right? I feel like for a person coming into the craft, $89, it's still steep, but you're getting a beautiful 3/16 stainless razor that's going to last your lifetime, if not beyond your lifetime, right? It's going to be what I like to refer to as an heirloom piece. This is a razor that you can pick up every single day or once a week and still get an absolutely beautifully close shave. At least in my opinion, it's very smooth. I'm not getting the skin pull or skin stretching that sometimes you get with a modern razor, and it's super smooth on the skin. It's almost unfairly smooth, right? Talk about a bowl of the good stuff, throw it on the spoon. This is nothing but the mallows. I really like that. Talk about a Subi stamped razor. I think that this is one of those ones as people start kind of, venturing away from completely beveled razors. And I feel like they're almost kind of trendy, the completely beveled razors. I feel like these hybrid razors are the future, in my opinion. That is, again, my opinion. This does cover the blade tabs, so you're not having to trim things off. Super easy to use. And because of the performance being right down the middle, you can see this. I'm not having to rebuff. It's taking the lather off really, really easily, which sometimes those really mild, overly beveled razors don't do. Do you see how fine that stubble is in there? It's very, very, very smooth, very close shaving razor for almost no blade fill. It's like cheating. It feels like like a cheat code is what it really feels like, a wet shaving cheat code, because it's so easy to use and it's so comfortable on the skin. As a dome shaver, this is the kind of razor that I have searched for in the 3-piece category range, and that's why I've done so many reviews on 3-piece razors, because on the dome they can really be either spectacular or fell spectacularly, right? At least in my experience, that I feel like sometimes a really aggressive, overly rounded cap can actually be really hard to find the angle behind your head and blind spots. That's a personal thing. I find personally I gravitate towards more of the hybrid razors where they're not completely beveled, where I'm not forced to use a specific angle the whole time, because that can actually be very limiting if you think about it, right? Say you need like an 18-degree angle because you're shaving back here, but the razor shaves best at 25. So that actually creates a situation where you're pressing, right? You're forced to press in to get the razor blade to the skin to utilize the flatter, bevel of the razor. And Henson's done really good because their razor, even if you're doing some pressing, isn't going to cut you. It's actually very, very, very mild and very offset. So you're actually not having too much struggles with like irritation or performance problems. But when it comes down to having that ability to kind of tweak the razor to get that extra angle to change things around, this does absolutely spectacularly. Massive shout out and huge thanks to Rob for allowing us to work with them to discuss how it works for us as a head shaving, channel, right? Because people that are coming here usually, right, are either shaving a head, face, or neck area, usually with a beard. Yeah, I wouldn't say always, right? Our lady shavers out there, very thankful for you, all 3 of them. But when it comes down to like head shaving, circular shaving, any like elbows, knees, arms, things like that, this razor performs really spectacularly, almost too well, if that makes sense, where this is one of those ones where it could be the only razor on your countertop. And I think that's cool. I love finding razors where you're able to set everything else that you own in a closet, forget about it, and use this one, and you never want to use anything else. And that's kind of where this kind of sits for me. I do feel like it's heavy, 103 grams. So if you're a little bit shy of weight, right, you're a person that does not love weight, this has quite a bit of weight, but because it's a 3-piece razor, you can kind of opt for other options on the market. You can go titanium, titanium. You can do a lot of things to lighten the razor if you want a little less heft, if that makes sense. But as far as the shave goes, you can see I am completely crisp, to the bone, bowling ball-esque, slippery as a seal, slick as a trout. Man, that right there, look at this. That is, I'm telling you this, bowling ball smooth, bowling ball crisp, very, very comfortably, very easily. And it took no effort. It was a very, 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 very comfortable shave. Thrilled to have that one on the market. $89. It's so nice to be able to say, if you want to go bald, right? And you want to do it every day or once a week and you want it to be comfortable and you don't want to have the irritation or have to learn how to use like a really beveled razor, this does phenomenally. Wow. Now, so the Lord of the Flies splash here. Let's get a little bit more of this. That is great. The cooling agent in it is really effective. It doesn't take or detract from the scent, which still smells to me like that Tom Ford ombre leather scent. Really, really pretty scent. Really nice, very posh, very sophisticated, rich, elevated. I think this is one of those ones where you could use this with their cologne, with the Tom Ford scent, and it's not going to detract from it. It's different enough, but barely. It smells almost cologne-esque. Very good, very berry forward, leather, violet, bergamot. I like the green note to this. Oh, the green to the Velvetier is so rich. This is awesome. And I love the label on this. Talk about a label that you could use all season long, right? For your shave of the day photos. It's kind of crazy how well this works for the end of fall, especially with the leather tones. Awesome from Alien Shave. Again, one of the ones, if you're looking for like a raspberry berry scent, we're just going to say berry scent with leather. Take a look. This is worth checking out. Awesome stuff. Beautiful shave from the Maxwell June. One of the ones I want to continue to use. I think doing a couple battles against like the Henson, other products like this razor. I think that this could be, and I like to quote it as the Henson killer because I feel like it has more range, more dynamic shaving ability. It's a little bit easier to use for me as far as getting a really close shave in hard spots where I'm not having to press down. I love the weight, and I think honestly, personally, the quality of the material is going to make it a much better product for about the same cost. Awesome shave again. Thanks for joining me for it. If you haven't, please go below, smash that sub button, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to talk to you all in the comments. And until I see you down there, I'm going to go enjoy the shave. Suits out.